Think of this as a treatment plan that's reimbursing someone from diagnosis all the way to a hospice situations, God forbid. My parents have the plan in front of you. They pay $70 a month for their cancer plan still to this day, and they've been paid over $43,000 by Aflac so far from the claims that they've both gone through for the two types of cancer that they've had, and thank God they're doing extremely well. So when you look at a plan like this, the purpose of it is to give a household peace of mind financially when they're dealing with what they call a dread disease like cancer. This is specific to cancer only. So it starts with being diagnosed. The diagnosis on this plan pays $5,000 to an adult that's on the plan, and God forbid it's a dependent child. It's actually a $10,000 benefit that's payable for a dependent child if they're diagnosed with cancer. The children are covered for free on this policy. Aflac's never charged for a child to be covered on a cancer plan in its 71-year history. And so that being said, you can add dependent children. It could be just the insured, and they can add a spouse or partner if they're married as well. After that, again, just like the accident plan, there's benefits for the various treatments that go along with the diagnosis of a serious skin cancer, like melanoma, or an internal cancer as well. So you'll see on here, there's a monthly benefit for treatments that occur, or daily benefits for treatments that occur, such as radiation, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, where the body basically attacks itself to rid itself of cancer. Experimental chemo is a covered event on there. My parents, for 5 years, in fact, my mother's coming up to her 5-year marker here in a couple of months. They've received a $500 benefit every year on the anniversary of the diagnosis of their cancer. And that's payable for 5 years because, if you know someone who's ever dealt with cancer, you end up dealing with scans and treatments and follow-up visits for the first 5 years after being diagnosed. So those dollars are meant to just cover the type of events that occur for follow-up care after a surgery's been conducted, treatments have been given, things of that nature. Just like on the accident plan, Aflac reimburses people for cancer screenings. So on the accident plan, some of the same screenings are actually covered on this plan. This is for the cancer screening is for an annual cancer screening. So in other words, if I go for my PSA exam, which I did a couple of months ago because my father had prostate cancer, it's hereditary. That's free, as you all know, on Obamacare. With the ACA rules, you actually get reimbursed for going even if you don't incur an actual cost, right? So from a cancer screening, we reimburse on this plan $75 once a year per covered person. So it's a free exam, and Aflac's still paying you money. So again, it's meant to incentivize a person to go seek care so they can get in front of something. When my dad's cancer was diagnosed, they caught it so early. He's really had nothing but one surgery and 9 years of dealing with it. They just watch it now because they got in front of it early. If you want second opinions, there's no lifetime limits on that. In fact, there's 19 benefits on these pages that don't have a cap as to how much they'll pay. They may pay a daily amount, a weekly or monthly, or a lifetime amount, but in most cases, there's no caps. Anti-nausea is a covered event. Stem cell or bone marrow transplantations are one-time benefits because those procedures either work or they don't. So it's not a continual thing with the treatment of cancer. Surgeries, skin cancer removal, hospitalizations with no limits on the length of days payable. Then you get into extended and home health care, nursing services, breast reconstruction for women dealing with breast cancer. If it's a female in childbearing years, they have the ability to cryopreserve and even deal with the implantation of eggs to have children if it's a reproductive cancer that someone's dealt with. Transportation and lodging are also covered. as an example, and it's not just for an insured, it's for a family member as well. So when my mother was treated in October of 2022, Aflac reimbursed my travel to visit my mother, who lived in Vermont at the time, and she still does, of her cancer treatment. So they, not because I work at Aflac, they actually reimbursed my parents through their policy for my transportation to be with my mother when she was in the hospital. If someone's in the hospital with something serious and they're a plane ticket away, I'm sure that all of you would just basically take care of it, jump on a plane, and be there to support the family member. That's something that I wasn't concerned about the cost of, but I also knew that the Aflac Cancer Plan was going to reimburse my parents once I provided proof of transportation. As far as that goes, so think of that plan for cancer, the treatments of cancer itself specifically. Let me stop the screen share. See if we have, I don't see any new questions in the chat, so I'm going to let that one go for now. Go back to the screen share. We'll move into the critical illness policy, and then we'll talk about indemnity dental after that. I'm going to skip the life insurance today just in case there's folks on here that don't have the life license, since typically you all are dealing with medical or Medicare plans. But we do have life insurance we can discuss in a separate call outside of here. So I'm going to go in and dive into the next one, which is the critical illness policy. This is one version of the plan. Again, there are multiple versions of this plan that are available. There are ones that have lump sums up to $30,000 payable for critical illnesses. And you'll see on here that, very similar to the cancer plan,